Hey, this is Seth Wall, Wahle-Tec.com. Mike Tango Whiskey has officially shamed me into making a YouTube channel. Or I had a YouTube channel. I've got a couple videos on there, but I've procrastinated and pushed it off long enough, I think. There's never a clean enough space to record in, or my camera setup's never good enough, or the lighting's never right. So this year I'm gonna try to do it basic. Try to just put stuff out. Um, See if I can finally get comfortable on camera. I'm not really comfortable on camera at all. Uh, right before I push the record button, the heart gets beaten. Um, so I don't know what this is going to be called. I'm thinking that I'll do a little series on our R&D process. Um, I think that might be interesting. We'll come up with a name for it later, because this year I'm just going to figure it out. So today, what I'm working on is the traveler hook with the sheath. Oops. There's explanation of why it kind of sucks. Sometimes it gets locked in there. Um, so, traveler hook is great. I love this thing. It's amazing. I carry one in my pocket all the time. Oop. Um, so, the sheath is not great, particularly from manufacturing perspective. There's just some inherent flaws to this design that just not good engineering. So, first problem is that this is PLA, which means that it can warp if you leave it in your car in the heat of the summer. It can get squishy, and then it can lock your pick into it, so you can't get it out without breaking it. Um, the other problem is the manufacturing tolerances on these hooks. It's not very good. Um, there's a lot of differentiation in the length of the pick and the width of all of the dimensions, and they all work. They're all reasonably tolerant, um, but the tolerances aren't very tight, um, which means that some of the picks won't even go in. So I have a bunch of picks that are just, I have a bag of picks that's just too long. Um, the other thing is that because the tolerances are weird, I kind of have to print different sizes. I have to expand and contract the 3D model. See, this one works well, but if I put it on another one, it just falls off. So relying on that, now it doesn't. Um, but relying on that friction fit doesn't really work. So what I've been working on this week is a different design. This one has a little, can I, has a little channel right there where the hook falls into. The hook goes in, and then you get a second half that magnets together. Now, the benefits of this one that we're selling now is that it's very cheap and easy to manufacture. Um, we get PLA from a local supplier here in town. They make it here a couple miles away from my house. Super convenient for me. I can print it at home, print it on our uh, 3D printers right over here. I can print out 50 of them on a plate. Um, that keeps the cost really low, which means that to have a profitable product, I don't have to raise the prices where it's unaffordable. Now, the problem with this new one is that it's a 4-part assembly with 16 magnets in it. And when you do, magnets are expensive. Um, so the magnets raise the cost of the product, or would raise the cost of manufacturing really high, um, to where it would be basically, I would be asking people to pay more for the sheath than for the hook and the sheath together now. Um, I don't really want it to be that expensive. Um, I don't know if the market, I don't know if anybody would even buy it if the cost of a sheath for a tool is more expensive than the tool. Especially when we're not the only people supplying these traveler's hooks. Um, so ideally, in a perfect world where I could get these produced for significantly less money than it would cost me to get them produced, um, I would make it out of PA12 nylon using FMJ printer. I don't have one of those, so I have to go to a contract manufacturer to do that. But that's the same material that like 100 Concepts uses for their, or I don't know exactly which one they use, um, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're using for all of their scope cap light devices or anti-glare devices. A lot of other companies use that for good, solid, temperature stable products. It's a real premium quality 3D printing technology that makes good products. So I would like to turn this into a high quality product that uses a better material, better materials with the magnets, um, and does a better job at holding the hook. So this week I was watching a video by another person who has 3D printed products, and he he makes a little pill case that screws in and out, and then when you have it out, it's got all of your different days of the week, and he's got little ball detents, and he's got magnets in it that hold it all together. Um, and that product looks really nice. I think it's also possibly PLA just from the look of it, but I'm not certain. Um, so I did a little redesign, and I made one here that has exposed magnets instead of a 4-part assembly. So the prior one has a plate, and then you put the magnets into little holes, and then you put the plate in and epoxy it shut. But watching that video, he said that he specifically leaves the magnets visible because it makes the product feel better, feel like a higher quality product. If the high quality materials are exposed where the person can see it, you can understand how it works because you see the magnets and you see the higher quality materials right up front. So I redesigned one side of it, the side with the hook. So the hook would go right in there like that, and the magnets are exposed so you can see them. And then put this on top, and now you've got your hook and sheath, and it works like a little mag slider. It's this little mag slider fidget toys, which are pretty fun. Actually, doing this, I've spent far too many hours screwing around with the sheath by itself, as opposed to actually working on it. Um, and so I think that's kind of cool because it gives you a second function for it. Um, it will protect your body from getting stabbed by the hook when it's in your pocket, but then you can take it out and play with it. Um, right. So by going to this, it's dropped me down from from 4 pieces to 3 pieces. So I think my next step is to redesign the second one so that the magnets go in here instead of in through the back. That'll expose all 16 of the magnets. It'll probably make it even stronger. I don't know if that's good. It might be too strong, but we'll find out. I might have to reduce the size of the magnets to thinner, shorter magnets that don't have as much magnetic force gauze. So I think that's what I'm going to do next, is work on that. And that would bring it down to a 2-part assembly, and I could stack the magnet. I could basically take the magnets and set them in here, and then that would make sure that the magnets for both sides are stacked together so the polarization is right. And then I could set the piece on top, and then I could press fit them together instead of using any glues, which would reduce the labor and the cost. Because I wouldn't have to have, basically, I'm getting rid of the glues, and this is a pretty fiddly assembly. I have to put glue in the bottom of each one of these, and then I have to press them in, and then I use a little stick to poke them down and get them all flat. Yeah. So I think that's the next step, is to eliminate this fiddly process. Maybe tighten up the tolerances on the magnets so they're press fit instead of glued in, and get rid of this extra piece. I think that'll drop the price of getting it contract manufactured in PA12 nylon down. It'll never be as cheap as this. This costs so little to manufacture, it's ridiculous. So this is perfect for a startup company, right? Because I can manufacture it right here on our printers. It doesn't cost very much. We can get good profits, good margins, and provide value add to the other to the rest of the product. But we'll have to find out with whether this concept can be done at a price point low enough where people are interested in buying it. So if anybody is interested in this style, let me know about how much you think that would be an appropriate price for something like this. Because that's my biggest concern here, is that redesigning it and raising the cost on the part will price everyone out, basically making this new version completely a waste of time and energy, right? Because if it's too expensive and nobody wants to buy it at that price, then it doesn't make sense to even be doing this. But I think with the added fidget toy aspect and higher quality materials, the magnet thing, there might be an opportunity for a slightly higher price point that can absorb some of those manufacturing costs. But I don't know. So you tell me. Because I'm just talking to a camera against my wall and feeling like a crazy person right now for doing it. Because talking to yourself is weird, and I am very much not comfortable doing it yet. Anyways, I'm going to go work on the CAD model for a 2-part construction like this, and I'll probably see if I can screen record that and put it up next. Have a good one.